Me. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our third part of the missing lamp. So this time I will be the member of the senior citizen panel, and Stefan will be role playing Les as Nancy is role playing Aaron. So thank you for meeting with us with me today. So far, we have seen a lot of escalation within the dispute, and I would like to give this chance over to Aaron, since you're the one that wants to bring up your points, and we'll turn the chance over to Les to share his point of view.
Well, thank you. Um, Let me tell you a little bit of what happened. So my, so I received a lamp. That was it's an artifact from Jericho, and my grandfather, who's 70 years old, um, he passed on this lamp to me, and the lamp represents not only history, but it represents the life and light of our family. And he asked me to guard this treasure of our family. And then recently I received a phone call from my wife, and she told me that the somebody broke into our house and there was nothing else missing but the lamp.
Okay.
And she called the police, and when I got there the police were just leaving. And and I saw my neighbor Les, who I've known for a long time. Our children goes to school together. He was out in his front yard planting some shrubs, and I went to talk to him, and I asked him if he saw anyone, but he just was not very committed to helping me. He told me about some kids he saw in front of my house, but he didn't even acknowledge the fact that these kids should not be stealing, and so that's why I'm here, to address it with him, and that's it.
Okay. So if I'm understanding, your point is that you were very disappointed that your neighborhood, Les, didn't call the police, as you thought he would do so as a neighborhood watch, um, Lord, to address the issue, right?
Yes, yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Because a bunch of hoodlums were just trying to break into my house, and that's why I'm here.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your side of the story. Now we're gonna turn the table over to Les. Les, would you care to share your point and why you were so disappointed?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been part of this neighborhood for a long time, and I thought that we had a good relationship, Aaron. But no, when those kids came by, I really didn't think much of it. I mean, they kind of tried your door, but I just kind of assumed they knew you. Or I mean, I didn't think that it was something to call the police on, and I didn't see them steal anything. So being a good neighbor is not just accusing everyone who just walks on your front door. So I thought that would be going against the law of the land of not bearing false witness against your neighbor. I know it's wrong to steal. It's in the Ten Commandments. I know it's wrong to covet your neighbor's things, but I didn't see that happen, and so it really didn't feel like something that I had jurisdiction over. In fact, I kind of feel weird that you're saying doing the same thing to me uh, and you're accusing me of doing wrong, and I feel like that's going against the law of the land of doing so, because I don't think I really did anything wrong, and here we are having to go through all this rigmarole to kind of figure this out. But I mean, I'm sorry that your lamp got stolen. I really am, but it's not really something that could have helped.
Okay. All right. So now that we both, I received a little bit of information from both of you two, I see that there's a dispute that has to go back and forth, blaming each other about who's supposed to do right and wrong. The way how I see it, I feel like this should be like an issue that the senior citizens should look up into it and figure out how to make the final right call for the situation. So I see that you mentioned one of the commitments within the Purple Acre procedure, and it reflects how to push forth with your thoughts. If can we dive more into like what we can do to
I'm looking for suggestions for the neighborhood watch. I mean, we can't really just accuse each other every single time. I mean, I'm actually quite frustrated. I mean, I'm old. I'm elderly. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. I've got a lot of experience, and I know that going and just accusing everyone just makes for a bad neighborhood. So I can't really see Aaron being a good part of that system if he's just going to accuse everyone, even if he has no basis to do so.
Well, I'm not accusing everyone. I'm just saying, like, if you're outside and you see these kids coming to my house, the least you could have done is, call the police.
Go into your house.
I think we're supposed to look out for each other.
Well, I agree to that. But I just can't do it without any proof of doing anything wrong. All they did was try your door. Maybe they were just trying to sell you something. Maybe I saw it wrong and they just knocked on your door. But they just kind of walked down the street, and I thought really nothing of it. They just got in their car and left. I didn't know that they stole from you. If I'd known that, I would have called the police.
Okay, Les, thank you for sharing. You bring up some good points. Aaron, with everything that you're hearing from Les, what are some of your thoughts about him bringing up the idea about being accused wrongfully for something that he hasn't seen? Like, what are your thoughts on that, and how would you address the issue if you were in issue?
Well, I admit I was frustrated. I was angry, and I was, this lamp means a lot to me, and I perhaps I came off a little bit really hostile towards him when I saw him out there, and I felt like he could have done something. So in that sense, I am sorry, Les, for doing that. But however, I just feel like we could do better as an association to look out for each other's properties and to help each other out.
I agree.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing. Les, now that Aaron has shared his thoughts and has apologized, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, as long as, I just don't want it to happen in the future, and if we can kind of get on a stance where we can kind of get to an agreement, I think that would be fine. I'm happy with Aaron being my neighbor, and I understand that he's upset. I mean, that's a priceless heirloom that he lost, but I just can't be accused every time something bad happens, and I don't see it. But yeah, I could be happy with that apology, and maybe even going forward and maybe doing something to help with the association. I mean, we can talk about it.
Okay, great. So as a member of the senior citizen panel, we are supposed to make a call on who is right and who is wrong. And as a spokesperson for the members of the panel, I will have to say that Les, you bring up good points about being wrongfully accused for something that you haven't seen, which does reflect on the 10th Amendment. And in this case, Aaron, do you think that there's more to it other than just wrongfully accuse Les for something that you haven't seen? Like, besides being angry and wrongfully accuse Les for something, is there anything else other than that?
Well, I don't know if those kids are the ones who stole my lamp. You know, I really don't know. It's just really frustrating at this point. The police is still looking, so I really don't know.
Okay. All right. So now that you guys' case about this dispute, it has moved from one nursing center to the other because it wasn't resolved on the previous center. Now that we are here, what is an idea that you guys can mutually agree on to move forward and find a resolution for the dispute?
I mean, just not to accuse people of things that they don't have solid proof for.
So you're saying that you should think about your actions and your words before you accuse people? Is that what you're insinuating?
Yes.
Okay.
I,
Aaron? What
I
are
would
you?
like I would like for us as a community for us to look out for each other a little better.
Okay.
And not just, and not just say, well, it's not my problem if someone's house has been broken into.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll try to maybe ask a few questions next time I see someone at your door. If they're knocking on your door and I'm not really sure, I can maybe see if what they're intending to do is righteous or not. And then,
Thank
of
you
course,
so much.
Okay.
consequences for law violations would happen after that, if I actually saw something bad.
Okay. But now that we have found this mutual grounding of understanding where you guys want to do this and do more, do you guys think that should become a law?
I think so.
I think it should. I think it should because it would help the neighborhood, that if all of us were looking out for each other, I think there would be less chances of something like that happening again.
Okay. So, I mean, if I'm understanding this right, so you both are agreeing to the idea that we should form another law on how one should do more to protect the neighborhood and to avoid similar conflicts like this in the future, right?
Right.
Yes.
All right, now that we have everything down in records, I will work on the final agreement. Then I'll print it out and have you guys proofread it. You can also have your attorney generals, if you guys have any, to look over it and see if there's anything else that you guys want to make any changes. And then we will have you guys sign the final agreements.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So, out of character. Now that this part is over.
You were really good.
Yeah, I think that was good.
That was really good.
For a second there, I thought that I was like doing a mediation. I was like, you know what? I'm supposed to be doing the panel. I'm supposed to be representing the senior citizen panel.
Yeah. Well, it kind of sounded like the senior citizen panel was able to resolve it without it having to, like, no one was in the wrong. But if it was someone in the wrong, they would, like, say, okay, I judge this other person. So, like, if
I thought you were gonna say that. I thought you were gonna judge that I was wrong, and therefore I need to go work in this nursing home.
But it didn't sound like either one. Like, I think in that case, this would be about what would happen. But if it was that, like, say Nancy's character Aaron became really belligerent and was really able to, and like Les was able to convince the senior citizen panel, then Aaron would have to do community service at the senior citizen area, doing whatever for however long that the jury said.
Okay.
But kind of glad that it didn't have to go that way.
Yeah, I think that we hit a lot of the points in terms of using the 10 Commandments and, you
Mhm.
know, um, citing things based on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we did a lot of good things on the principles, like treating others like you wanted to be treated. We kind of got on the same level,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then I think Megs, your character said that we should think about our actions. I like that was nestled in there. Um, Overall, the procedures and principles aren't bad. I mean, I have a few like it's kind of confusing in a few parts, but I like the sentimentality of it.
Yeah.
Um, I kind of find it a little vague in a certain points, and could be prone to biases, given that like especially since Les in this one was older. Uh, if we're going to nursing home, I imagine the panel of peers is more generated to be in favor of the person who is old.
Right.
Um, Not that it happened in this case, but as a general complaint of the procedure.
What's the favorite?
I
Right.
also think that that it could also be looked like as a positive that the elderly people are the ones making the decisions, that perhaps they've lived longer and they've seen more, so they could, they have more experience to kind of base a decision from rather than a younger person.
Yeah,
I think that's the positive of it.
yeah. I mean, Les was pretty happy about it. We came to an agreement.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Max, how did you feel about being like that panel? Like, do you feel like you had like enough power to have say, or um,
Well, personally, I feel like, well, it was a little bit confusing because at first before we started the actual recording, we were saying that we should like the spokesperson should favor the the older person, which it was you, Les. And then during like the whole time we were like going through the dispute, I was thinking like, like if this is a mediation course, then that will defeat the purpose of being neutral.
yeah,
So that's why I kind of backed out a little bit and zoomed out, because I didn't want to defeat the idea and the purpose of this course, even though we're supposed to be creative. But I still feel the need that we should still maintain as neutral.
yeah?
So
It kind of sounds like you felt like you couldn't be neutral in this one, but that would kind of be a bad thing toward the procedure. If like a normal person in that position that you were in feels like I have to make a decision one way or the other, there is no middle ground.
Yeah.
It can be kind of,
true.
you know,
I don't know what's gotten into me, but for some reason I was like, I think it's bad if I do this, like the no middle ground, cause like,
yeah. It's like I sentence one of you to 5 hours of community service because, um, I mean, I
you
guess I
guys
could.
actually like, if anything, you guys actually do bring up good points, because then that would enforce the third guiding principle.
Yeah,
Thought on that one. Enforcing the law violations, which is to do and serve time for work. Okay.
so all right. Well, those kind of my general things. Does anyone else have anything else they want to say about it?
No, that was it for me. I thought you guys did a really good job.
Yeah, it was fun.
I thought that one was fun.
Yeah.
I feel like we got more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Well, no offense, I did it because I just like lost myself in the process of become a panel for the solution.
That's because we were putting a lot of thought into it.
Right?
Okay, so I feel like we've kind of wrapped everything up. Unless anyone else has anything to say, I'll hit stop on the recording.
You could hit stop.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. All right, I'll go ahead and hit stop now.